Hello, welcome back. Episode 4 of Monitoring Hurricane Lane and Invest in 95C, both of which look to be deteriorating. This here is currently the current GOES satellite image of Hurricane Lane and Invest 95C. This area right here, pretty much here. It's in this area, but it's coming apart. Now, that was the first time I saw that. See how this has been pixeled out all night? And then boom. That's new. I've been saying all night how it doesn't even look like a hurricane. And then now they're saying, breaking, officials say Hurricane Lane has been downgraded to a Category 2 hurricane as it approaches Hawaii. Alright. Then look at how they add all this funkiness to it. I went through all the GOES satellites. I didn't see that. But anyway, that's what they're trying to say is out there. But I went through those past 3 videos. Alright, let's take a look at this. Current radar. See how it's nicely missing right here? I guess you can. Oh, jeez. Put size on that. Yep, playing around. That seems about right, huh? Oh, that was on. Oh, it wasn't. Oh, there's tape over the window. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go. All situated. Current satellite. Current GOES. Slow this down. Hasn't been wanting to do anything all night, and then it pops. As soon as that line goes through, watch. It's supposed to be the transition between day and night, I guess. What's the time in Hawaii? It was at, I guess I can open it. Let's find out what time Hawaii it is. Oh my goodness. Never get anywhere that way. Type it back. $7:49 in the morning, so yes. As soon as the sun popped, it suddenly appeared, right? See all this last night, and then boom. Let's look at that. Let's go backwards. Oh, stop. Forward. Boom. Now there's a hurricane again. I've been saying all night there wasn't anything there. See? It was like that all night. And where's my time? Oh, 12 UTC. So 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, 2:30, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 4 o'clock, 4:30. That. In a half hour. It wasn't even showing any rapid intensification on Venture Sky. Let's go. Well, let's just get caught up on the other stuff. Let's see what FEMA's here to say now. Give them a hug. Move my mug. Let's take a listen.
Request for federal assistance from the state of Hawaii. We pre-staged. Hurricane Lane is still a dangerous storm with an uncertain forecast. FEMA's on the ground now to help coordinate any request for federal assistance from the state of Hawaii. We pre-staged emergency food, water, generators, and other commodities to support emergency resource needs to the islands. But we're also working closely with the private sector to ensure that businesses like major grocery stores can continue to provide services regardless of the storm's impacts. FEMA doesn't operate alone. We must work hand in hand with other federal agencies, state and local governments, private organizations, and private citizens. We're working hard to ensure this whole community effort is working on all fronts during disasters like Hurricane Lane.
Feel sincere to you? Supporting citizens and first responders before, during, and after emergencies. For emergencies, call your local fire, EMS, police, or 911. Yeah, why not? Sure. Hurricane Lane is a slow-moving storm. As of 3 hours ago from FEMA, Hurricane Lane is a slow-moving storm and a threat. Okay, I'm on. Apologize. Sometimes I sit here and talk to myself and the speaker's not even... Well, and no one's watching most of the time anyway. Hurricane Lane is a slow-moving storm and the threat of dangerous flooding will continue through the weekend. Dangerous, they say. Stay alert and pay attention to weather alerts closely. Be ready for threats of Hurricane Lane today into the weekend. Potential continues for dangerous impacts. We'll have a peak here. Be ready for threats. Peak winds 50 to 75 miles per hour. Surf 15 to 25 feet. Hurricane Lane triple threat. Don't let your guard down. Potential for catastrophic flooding. Life-threatening surf, and damaging winds. News Honolulu, August 24th, 4 a.m. Posted. Rain, 10 to 20 inches possible. Isolated, 30 to 40 inches. Really? I'm just trying to connect the dots, that's all. Where they're getting all this. They must have done a lot of seeding. Because we were in a completely unfavorable zone. And you can see that on my last video towards the end. Yeah, we were in a completely unfavorable zone. And it was like that all night. It was dead all night. Nothing. Nearly nothing. And then boom. I'm going backwards now. Boom. And this would be 95C Invest. So now they're still calling as of 4 a.m. this morning. Another 30 to 40 inches. That's FEMA.gov. Quick summary, we've already watched that. The USCG is busy finishing our preps for Hurricane Lane. We are working closely with FEMA and other federal, state, and local partners. It is most important to not pull or put yourself in unnecessary danger. If you need emergency services, call the normal numbers. Don't call us, we'll call you. We've pre-staged food, water, generators, and other commodities in Hawaii to support emergency rescue needs for the hurricane. More generators arrived on the islands today in anticipation of the storm's impacts. We continue to work closely with our partners to prepare. Hawaii, if you don't live in a flood-prone area, prepare to shelter in place. If you do live in a flood-prone area, prepare for the possibility of moving to an emergency shelter. To find nearby locations, text shelter and your zip code, i.e. shelter 12345 to 43362. Hurricane Lane. Find an emergency shelter near you. Slow movement of Hurricane Lane increases the threat of prolonged heavy rainfall and extreme rainfall totals over all of the Hawaiian Islands. Major life-threatening flash flooding and landslides possible. Driving conditions will be extremely dangerous. Turn around and don't drown, they say. And it's all just repeated. What are the impacts of 10 to 20 inches of rain, landslides, flooding, prompt evacuations and flooded roads, potentially difficult evacuations. Some roads may erode from underneath, creating imminent dangers. And locations that normally do not flood will be covered in the flood waters. Thank you, FEMA, for the obvious. What would we do without you? Really, what would we do without you? I got the dog out there. My sister's dog. Yeah, see. Okay, we'll keep an eye. Not like I'm gonna stop or fix anything, I'm just keeping an eye. Hurricane Lane now at Category 2, praise God. Airlines offer travel waivers as Hurricane Lane bears down on Hawaii. 27 seconds ago, thank you, David Jones. Pain management is important for everybody. Hurricane Lane turns toward Hawaii Big Island and has already seen over 31 inches of rain, flooding already. Hurricane hasn't even arrived yet. ABC News. Those who have a non-scrolling satellite image since 4 a.m. Extreme flash flooding at Hawaii is dangerous. Hurricane Lane could dump 38 to 40 inches of rain. I think we've kind of caught up. Almost without exception, every single time we've covered, it's been infallible ratings killer, so the incentives are not great. Manufactured dramatic flooding from Hurricane Lane. ABC News. I've been there. not worth it. They stole all the moisture for Hurricane Lane in the Pacific, which is hitting Hawaii. They stole it all. If you're a Hawaii company that still expects your employees to come to work, that's your right, but you should be held responsible. If Hurricane Lane causes damage or blocks roadways, preventing an employee from getting home, you demanded that they get on the road. My friend, we're back. Drone footage shows hurricane flooding. Let's take a look. BCDFWTV.com, I guess. Do I have to wait for ads? Oh, of course there's ads. Why would there be not? Making money off the hurricane, are they? Come on already. Let's see it. Come on. Get on with it. We got other stuff to look at. Better be good footage, too. Rest in peace. I thought that was rolling place. Wallakua. Nice. Exceptional. Fantastic. Is that not impressive? Seems impressive. That's a lot of water. No wind. A lot of water. It's amazing we could have a water shortage with as much water that keeps falling out of the sky all over the place, and then we've got severe droughts. Why don't they truck some of that stuff? The government can't afford to truck some of that water, like pump it up from the Mississippi and take it out west somehow. They couldn't build a pipe. Maybe they wanted to build a pipe. They said no. How much water's underground? The entire world's full of water. The entire earth, however shape you want to put it, is covered with water. Inside and out. It's easy to take the salt out. You ever boil water? Anyway. Expectations. Expectations. We ask too much. Hello, Steve. Come on already. Shrink. No. Shrink. Shrink it down. I don't want to share it. I shared it. Shrink. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Had to hit the escape. Escape, let me out. Sometimes this stuff is very, demanding on my patience. Especially when it starts to heat up during the day. That's why I usually do my stuff at night. It's cooler, the Wi-Fi is better, it's quiet outside, the sun's not beating down. I do like to be outside though. Why Hurricane Lane is already a flooding catastrophe. See how they build that stuff up? They talk about us as being fear mongers. It's their words. The eye of Hurricane Lane is moving north-northeast, creeping closer to Oahu. I'll never say it right. However, it's also looking more ragged as wind shear disrupts the circulation. Complex track forecast as competing influences at play now. Sheer and low-level trade winds. Saying that all night. Where's FEMA been? Bed? I'm sure. Stay up. Update 7 minutes ago. Very good. Reed Timmer. Update long range radar loop not looking good for Oahu, especially in terms of rainfall. changes in a half hour, you know? Just out of nowhere, right? Huge slug of precipitation and prolific. Rainfall rates upstream heading straight for Oahu and Maui will be a dangerous afternoon and night. That will be a long day for me, I suppose. What do we have? I see it. Where's... Okay, we got the image out here. Remember the other one? Let's look at this one. Let's compare them all while we, keep them all fresh. 7 minutes ago was the other one. This one's just refreshed. It works better if I just, oh, jeepers. Yep. It was dead all night, then boom, that half hour. Okay. What about the weather? No, that's about right. Is it just a moment? Yeah. North. It'll never go north, they said. You know how small that area is? I mean, it's not even the distance from one end of Texas to the other, from here to here. It's tiny, tiny. How can you have such a tiny hurricane? It's like made in a bottle. Have I ever showed you how close that is to... You know how big it is. You can look it up. Anyway, let me give him a love. Love. There you go. Spread the love. Never hurts. Doesn't cost anything. What is the Chicago Flood Conference, you ask? I don't want to know. If you're experiencing cable, no. Hurricane Lane lashes Hawaii. 5 tourists rescued from flooded home. Airbnb. Sirens wailed. Sirens. Those girls of the sea. Wailed while workers piled. Yeah, we already covered that. While workers piled sandbags in front of hotels and police blared warnings to tourists who leave the world-famous Waikiki Beach as hurricane comes to shore. Live view, Big Island, people out and about, cloudy but calm seas. Sounds like a huge, that's from the Hilton. Live view at Hilton Wakalili. Let's take a look. Shall we? Yep. A little cricket smacks going on. Where's this live? Oh, look at that. Earth cam. Is it live? Doesn't look very live. We're hoping to welcome guests for the latest weather updates. Let's take a look. You know, that's what we're all about. Looking. Noticing the obvious. Very good. Book a stay. Tropical storm warning covers the island of Hawaii, which means storm conditions may occur. Lane due pass closest to the island on Friday morning. Right now. It's like going on 8 o'clock in the morning there. Okay. Very good. I kind of thought they'd have a live image. Well, if you want a nice place to stay. It's a bit much for me. I'd rather have some straw and an outdoor cot. With the dogs. They like it outside too. Very nice. 57 seconds ago. I don't think so. There we go. There's the one I was looking at. Timmer. Nope. Opening Twitter after losing your home in a hurricane and seeing a tweet from a guy whose is him squatting in front of a mirror and clenching his jaw that says, "Why name hurricanes?" Soft knees like Lane, I suppose. Shot a few days ago. That's nice. I like that. See that redness? See, anyway, we won't go into it in this video. Okay. Very good. Looks like that's it for the Twitter scope at the second. Let's go over here. See if anybody's alive. This was first thing this morning. FEMA. Their last known broadcast that I'm aware of. And I'll shut up while this is playing.
Communications, transportation, health and medical, critical lifelines. So here again, it's a unified effort that we are ready to support our state and local partners. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve Goldstein with the NOAA's National Weather Service to give us the latest update. Steve.
Okay, the latest advisory issued from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Hawaii time, still has Hurricane Lane remaining a powerful Category 3 hurricane with winds of 120 miles an hour. It is approximately 160 miles southwest of Kona and 200 miles south of Honolulu. It is moving north very slowly, only 5 miles an hour. This general motion is expected to continue through the day before it makes a turn to the west sometime Saturday and begins to speed up. On this track, the hurricane will pass dangerously close to the Hawaiian Island chain through the day today, into tonight, and Saturday. Lane may weaken as it approaches, but it's expected to maintain hurricane strength as it approaches the islands. Dangerous flooding will continue on the Big Island. The threat for tropical storm force or even hurricane force winds will continue for the next 24 to 36 hours, especially at the higher elevations. This is expected to be a long-duration flood event, as the threat for heavy rain may continue after the hurricane passes to the west. High surf, rising waters, and storm surge could inundate, overwash coastal areas, especially during high tide this afternoon, Hawaii time. The next advisory from the Central Pacific Hurricane Center will be issued at 11 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Hawaii time.
All right. Thank you, Steve. Next up, we have from the United States Coast Guard, Admiral Austin, that we would like to bring up. And as I said yesterday, the Coast Guard plays a tremendous role in bolstering search and rescue capabilities. Also, they play a tremendous role in helping us to maintain access to waterway ports and a whole host of other things. So thank you, Admiral.
Thank you, Administrator. Good morning, everyone. The Coast Guard's primary concern is still the safety of the people on Hawaii and Coast Guard members and their families. Any assets that were going to be flown into Hawaii prior to the storm have made it there. They are staged and ready to go as soon as it is safe to respond. We are also waiting for the storm to pass so that we can have the ports reconstituted. We can continue to do post-storm damage assessments, working with FEMA or other local partners as well as industry to help prioritize which vessels come into the port as soon as possible so that we can get resources flowing back in there. That's all I have.
Correct. Thank you, Admiral. Next up from the Army Corps of Engineers, we have Ray Alexander with us today. As I said yesterday, the Army Corps of Engineers plays a tremendous role as well through the unified effort. Not only will they help with the emergency power mission, helping HECO, the private power industry that runs power on the island with emergency power, but they also help us to understand risk analysis when it comes to waterways, canals, dams, and bridges. So thank you. Ray.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. Under both FEMA and Army Corps authorities, the Corps is fully engaged, prepared to respond as needed. Our Pacific Ocean Division leadership, they're headquartered on Oahu. They are forward, our subject matter experts for temporary power, debris removal, Infrastructure assessment, they are all for it, and they are working with state and FEMA responders to coordinate and anticipate needs and assist in the planning efforts. Under FEMA mission assignment, we've already deployed temporary emergency power, debris, and infrastructure assessment subject matter experts and planning and response teams. They're on Oahu, they're on Kauai. We also have deployed a debris removal team forward and subject matter experts. And then finally, we're integrated fully with Coast Guard and NOAA to ensure that federal channels are quickly surveyed and opened. Yesterday, we were asked a question about the Alawai Canal in Waikiki. This is a state-controlled waterway. It is not an active flood risk management project. We did receive recently $345 million with emergency supplemental last summer to initiate a flood risk management project. Design will actually begin this fall. Construction beginning in 2020, and the project is expected to be complete in 2023. It's a combination of multiple detention and water debris retention basins, as well as a flood wall, pumping station, flood warning system. But that is not in place. The canal has flooded in the past, and I believe it's safe to say, based upon the forecasted rainfall, it will likely flood again, but the impacts of which we are not prepared to say at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray.
Yes, sir.
All right, and then also next up, as I said yesterday, one of the crucial partners that we have is the American Red Cross, who helps us with mass care and sheltering and rendering safety and security to the citizens that are impacted. Brad Kaiserman.
Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. As Hurricane Lane has lumbered towards the Hawaiian Islands, last night there were over 1,500 residents of Hawaii across the islands who sought shelter in
for Hurricane Lane is now a Category 3 storm that has already dumped 2 feet of rain on the big island of Hawaii.
temporary evacuation centers established by the counties.
Over
1,000 of those
Why won't you pause? Thank you.
folks were in Oahu, in multiple shelters in Honolulu and Honolulu County. Expect to see additional shelters that may open today, centers that may open today, and I definitely expect to see an increase in population as the storm continues to approach. There are over 500 Red Cross volunteers across the islands working today. Nearly 250 of them are event-based volunteers. That's people who raised their hand and said, I haven't been affiliated with a volunteer organization before, but I'd like to help now. And so they have all been processed in. We continue to have a need for volunteers on the island, and people can do that by going to 1-800-RED-CROSS or by going online to redcross.org. But for now, we have adequate forces on the island, and we're working with our partners, the Salvation Army, who continue to do disaster feeding across the island. We'll keep you posted. Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will.
And I think it's worthwhile mentioning here again, disaster response is a whole community obligation, not just FEMA's obligation, but it also goes down to the citizen being appropriately prepared. So if you're looking to get involved, and here again, it's been incredibly, it's a critical component of the whole community, neighbor helping neighbor. If you're looking to get involved, we would ask you to also visit nvoad.org, nvoad.org. So with that, we'll stop and take any questions you may have. Yes, ma'am.
Real quick question. We're looking at what's going on at the agriculture system in the state. We're wondering if anything had been said about how farmers are preparing, what crops might be affected, anything along those lines?
Jeff, I don't have anything on agriculture at this point. This is Jeff Byard, Office of Response and Recovery Director for FEMA.
Our current priorities, as the administrator laid out, are life-saving, life-sustaining, the food, water, sheltering, and safety and security. Obviously, we want all to be prepared, both in the business sector and in the agricultural sector. However, that's our primary focus. We do have USDA, with us, one of our emergency support function partners. So we will check with the appropriate agency on that. But however, we want to focus our efforts on saving lives and then making sure that we have adequate food, water, and sheltering. And then at the as we go post storm, we'll start doing the assessments and that's.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes.
Next question. Yes, ma'am.
The power outage, I think you had mentioned that temporary power was put in place already. Can you just talk a little bit about what parts of the islands and how much?
No, what we have in place are temporary power subject matter experts and planning response teams. So they are forward. They're working with state, local officials and identifying the requirements so that as we get mission assignment, to actually begin installation of generators, we're prepared to do that. Okay.
In line with that question, I think it's very important to point out here again, HECO, which is Hawaii's private power company that is largely in charge of restoring power, not FEMA, not the Army Corps of Engineers. Our mission is designed to backfill their capability. So, for example, we mobilize a lot of generator capability that we have ready to go to support critical infrastructure until the power is turned back on. And then when it comes to HECO, typically the well-organized power companies have robust mutual aid agreements in place. And the role that the federal government plays in that is helping them to facilitate those mutual aid agreements, such as getting equipment and teams from CONUS United States into the ports, into the waterways, so that they can deploy out. But we have verified with HECO that they do have very strong reserves when it comes to equipment and supplies to be able to quickly fix the energy grid. But here again, let's set expectations. They're called disasters because stuff is broken after the fact. And citizens need to realize that we're looking at major hurricane impacts, and things are going to break. And we need to set the expectations that the power could go off for quite some time, and the infrastructure is going to be heavily impacted. Next question.
Quite some time? Why?
Okay.
Everything's in place. Why would it take quite some time? It's not like it was all strung together like Puerto Rico.
Thank you,
I mean,
folks.
I can understand Puerto Rico. I've seen it. I've been there. The wires were everywhere. It's like India. But Hawaii's not like that. In fact, a lot of their infrastructure is fairly modern, one would think. Yep, I'm still here. Unbelievable. Nothing. Let me try this. I don't even know how to spell it. Maui. They don't look right. M-O-A-M-U. for it to come up now. What are you doing? How are you unresponsive? I'm just working. It's Facebook. It's always Facebook. Can I pause the video? Whatever. I'll go backwards. Let's see if we can figure out why this isn't functioning.
Thanks for joining us. We're here on the southeastern shore of Oahu, in the island chain here in Hawaii. And we wanted to bring you out here, our pattern viewers, to really get a sense of these powerful waves that are being generated from Hurricane Lane, which is still a Category 4 hurricane, 130 mile per hour winds, and it's about 275 miles south over the ocean, looking this direction. It just recently went over a buoy, actually made it into the eye of the hurricane, confirming these incredible waves. These swells are starting to make their approach here to Oahu, and we wanted you to come out here and experience this. We're at a spot called Spitting Caves, and you can get the full view of the landscape here. It really does make you feel like you're on the volcano. We're in a good spot. We feel in a safe place here to watch these waves. Behind me here, that's actually Diamond Head. Most of the time you're used to seeing it from Waikiki. This is sort of the backside, if you will. So we're a few miles behind the backside of Diamond Head. And we're looking towards the west here. Again, we're in the southeast side of Oahu. And thank you for joining us on our Pattern live periscope here. The swells will be increasing, so is the wind as we go through the day here, and that will just be the case into tomorrow as well. I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys take this sights and sounds in with me for a moment. Good evening, folks. This is a Pattern live stream from the island of Oahu. I'm Pattern meteorologist Dr. Matt Sikowski, and we're looking at some of these incredible swells being generated from Hurricane Lane. Just for a little perspective here. You can see a few people in our shot ahead of us. This is a pretty spectacular spot. We're looking at the southeast side of the island. And Hurricane Lane is off to the right, out over the ocean, some 275 miles away from here. Still a powerful Category 4 hurricane with winds of 130 miles per hour. Some very large waves out at sea, and you can see here some of these swells finally getting to the island of Oahu here, and they will only be increasing as we head into this evening here and to tomorrow on Friday. Where we are now here on Oahu. I'm going to give you a little bit of perspective. We're going to turn the camera face west, and what you see, you're used to seeing, that's Diamond Head. A lot of times you see that from the other side, from Waikiki. So we're looking at the backside. We're a few miles down the island here. And then we're just here bringing you live on Pattern to experience the power of the water.
Dark day. It's crazy. A bamboo tree. the wind. Oh yeah, for sure. It's coming though. We're expecting about 40 inches. See, highest on this mountain. $9:45. Alright, well, I don't know what to say, and I'm super big. Okay, so I have right now, okay, oh, sour diesel.
Jump on the mic, jump on the mic, jump on.
I don't know if you can see, it's starting to rain a little bit. But yeah, I'll come back in a little bit when it gets crazy. Show you what it's like. Hope everyone's having a good one. I'll see you later.
o'clock, we will be confined to the hotel for safety reasons.
So you did go to the store, you did heed those warnings, getting water, getting non-perishable goods?
Yes. Yes, we did.
And today you've been walking around trying to find some restaurants open. I personally have not seen anything open, at least along Kalakaua Avenue. Have you seen anything open?
No. But we're going to go to one of the back streets because we've seen other people with drink cups and stuff. So there are probably things on one of the back streets. So that's where we're going to go in just a few minutes to see what we can find before we go back up to our room.
Now, as we mentioned, Jeannie here is visiting from Kentucky. When does your flight leave, and are you concerned at all that it'll be canceled and you'll have to stay here a little bit longer?
I don't have to leave until Tuesday afternoon, so I personally think that by then everything will be cleared out. I'm not really concerned at all.
Definitely staying tuned to the forecasts and checking the conditions. You've never been through a hurricane before. I'm assuming most people from Kentucky have not experienced mostly tornadoes down there. Talk to me about your experience. What's going through your mind hearing that you're visiting Hawaii and there is a hurricane in the forecast?
It's really hard to get your mind and thoughts around a hurricane when it's absolutely gorgeous out here. I mean, it's coming. The wind has picked up. It's a little windier than it was before, and there have been some gusts. I was out at 3:30 in the morning on the balcony taking pictures of the ocean, and there were several good gusts of wind at that time, but it's hard for it to sink in when it's this pretty.
Jeannie, thank you so much. Visiting from Kentucky, thank you for taking the time to talk to us. One of about 126,000 visitors on Oahu at this very moment. She did not get to do a lot of the things that she planned on this vacation, but again, she says that she will bunker down in her hotel later today. We're live here in Waikiki. We want to show you the surf one more time. Again, people, although they are in the water, although we do have several surfers out today, the City and County of Honolulu Ocean Safety Lifeguards are advising people to stay out of the water. These conditions, as Paul mentioned previously, are kind of unpredictable. We are supposed to get high surf. That high surf warning does remain in effect for the South Shores here on Oahu. So the main message here is for both visitors and residents here. Although these conditions don't seem too bad, they don't seem too out of the ordinary at this very moment, that could all change. So the main message here is to do not get complacent. Make sure you stay tuned to those advisories and those warnings. We'll be tracking the conditions here on Oahu all day, so be sure to stay tuned for any updates. But in the meantime, Lindsay and Maleko will send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Mackenzie. At 8:51 this morning, Mackenzie Stasco is in Waikiki, where conditions are fairly calm this morning, and visitors are starting to creep out of their hotel rooms and head down to the beach. And a stern reminder from the governor to stay out of the water and away from Hawaii's shores, as the storm is still very much a powerful threat. Hurricane Lane is currently a Category 2 storm. The governor tweeting just moments ago that the eye
So, of course, at this point and for the next couple of days, it is not the time to put your guards down and start to be relaxed. With that, we'll toss it back to you guys in the KHON2 studio.
That's right. Thank you so much, Kamaka. As we've seen through pictures and videos coming into the newsroom, you cannot put your guards down because the wind, the rain, the flooding, all hitting Hawaii. We do thank you for sending it in. Let's go ahead and show you some of the images that we received.
Let's talk from Jade. She says that
starting to come into Kauai, very gloomy over there. Bronson, thank you so much for sending in that video.
Next, we have Nolan Nishida. He says, some hope it won't be too bad. And of course, this is a picture. It looks very calm right now, but it's a calm before the storm.
actually video, and you wouldn't know this.
What time is it? 57. Okay, 3 minutes. Places magazines in the bathroom. People take their cell phones to the bathroom. People take their cell phones in restaurants. And I know there's this tremendous movement to stop that. People say, no, keep your cell phone in the car when we're has a TV. Let's see how this goes. I think I'm on battery now, but I can also do I think most of you know what this is. It's one of those NOAA radios where you can crank it if you have no battery, no electric power. Crank it.
Pass just to the south of Oahu. It looks like late Friday in the evening, overnight hours. This is now a look at what we're going to be seeing on at 2 p.m. on Saturday, it looks like, and then Sunday at 2 a.m. completely clearing Kauai before we see it then weaken to a tropical storm once it clears Kauai. So the timing of the impacts have slowed a little bit, but again, they're still going to be coming. And in terms of the track, it's still very similar to what we had been seeing even since last night. And you can see that Kona.
I'm going to be heading up the mountainside in about 2 hours, probably in about 1 hour. I'm going to go live again from the top of one of these ranges where we can look down over the beach. We'll be right over the Bonsai Pipeline, but the waves there aren't really kicked up. This isn't the time of year for a lot of waves there, and the way the hurricane is moving, the winds are kind of parallel to the shore on the north shore here, so we're not getting a lot of waves from that. So there's not a lot going on here, kind of quiet. We've had a couple of little light rains this morning move through. You can see the ground. It's not overly wet. There's not a lot of mud puddles. Now we did cross, and I posted some pictures yesterday, we did cross a couple of little mountain streams on the way here. And there's a lot of concern that if we do get some of these heavy rains, that the water rushing down the mountainside and through those streams out into the ocean is going to block travel. There's going to be some flooding. There's going to be some access is restricted where we can't get to it. It's a possibility I can't get back to the house where I'm staying, but we'll see what happens.
Oahu, where Honolulu and Waikiki Beach and all, that's the city, okay? That's where the hurricane's heading, and that looks, there's no way.
It's turning a little bit here, a little bit there, so they don't know. Been through plenty of hurricanes here in Miami. Tafian says,
on any weather updates. Aloha.
Fareed Sabinha Yapman wants to know. Oh, then Fareed says LOL, so I know you're kidding. How's the fire? That's happening down the west side. Charles, how much above sea level are you? I'm on sea level. I'm looking out the window. Right across the street, about 300 yards away.
On any weather updates. Aloha. On any weather updates. Aloha.
Does that, or he'll put up some dumb argument that doesn't hold water. But he's like brain dead. I mean, he's a
Let's talk about love. Is it everything and everything?
probably about 4 or 5 miles inland from Pearl Harbor. But I'm also kind of protected by all these mountains in a fishbowl. Like that mountain, and it kind of drops down there, picks back up here. So I don't know if that's kind of knocking the wind down a bit or not. Yep, pretty quiet. Much wind or rain right now. Still planes coming in. I don't know if you guys can see it. There it is.
Can you spot the big bad cat too, they said. Me neither. I agree with JS. Very much. I agree with that. Went from a 5 to nothing, right? In my office ready for Hurricane Lane. Honolulu, Honolulu. Hurricane Lane has dumped more than 2 feet of rain on the Big Island neighboring Maui and is dealing with a large brush fire near the resort area. Satellite saw the glow of this fire, I suppose. Dem praises federal response to Hurricane Lane, which hasn't hit yet. More than solid, because they haven't done anything yet. Hawaii Senator Brian Schatz all over the praise the Trump administration's response. That's fine, but nothing has happened yet. Response to nothing. Hurricane Lane. Well, I mean, yeah, there was some flooding, but it's not like, you know, the Fat Cat 5 that they were trying to throw on us. Hurricane Lane lives. Okay. Brush fire. I can't find hardly any updated information. This is all from, it says 2 minutes ago, but this is stuff from 2 days ago. They just keep putting on stuff. Hurricane repeatedly targeted on north side. 8:24, 10:30 a.m. I've got nothing. Same photos. Nothing. Let's try this. Oh, hurrah. So much for all the information age. When Hurricane Lane started, it was going 12 to 14 miles per hour. Now it's down to 2. But a slow, fat, and wide storm this has turned out to be. I don't think so. So, moving north at 2 miles per hour as rain bands will continue to overspread the Hawaiian Islands ahead of Lane. Over 30 inches of rain has already fallen at a couple locations. Live updates, so it's the same image. Thoughts and positive vibes, praise and joy. Lumbering. Hilo Bayfront underwater looking toward the bay from Awawi Street. Okay. Can't control. You're in the path. Had trouble sleeping overnight due to the wind. It's died a little, but rain is slowly increasing. It's still crawling about 2 miles per hour and not even expected to reach Oahu until later tonight. Earlier today at 4 a.m. they said by morning. Anyway, I know. Barrels toward Hawaii with torrential rains. Threatens more than 48,000 homes in Hawaii. Yeah. Post video. Yep. All junk. No information. Zero new information. Nothing. Just fantastic. Hello? Why is everything going so slow? What's going on? Shut everything down, didn't they? That's the only reason why it wouldn't have popped up already. It's a simple program. Yeah. Or I'm just being facetious. Informational purposes only, yeah, that's what we use it for. Information. Isn't that what the point of it is? Information? I mean, what is information? I mean, what's the other? If it's only, well, what else can you use it for? It's information. It has many uses. I mean, why would they hide anything from us? I mean, what's not to see? Look at that shearing. Almost looks like a sunflower, doesn't it? I thought you covered that already. Yeah, it looks like sunflower. Interesting. Well, I don't think this thing's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna grab some sleep this afternoon and come back tonight when something happens, because I'm tired of looking at normal. Normal is as normal does. This book's still terrible, by the way. Yes, very terrible. Yeah. Interesting. Damn. Maybe why all the internet's so wonky. What else we got? What else do we have here? Nothing's in event mode. Look at, there's no waves. Well, there's a standing wave pattern though. Drop quick. Oh, standing wave, way up high, down low, up high, down low. How many feet is that? 36 to... Well, that's not very much. That's only, look at 36 to 36. It's only 22 tenths. It's only 2 tenths of a difference. It makes it look dramatic. And from here to here, that's the side that should be kicking too. Pacific Islands Ocean Observing System. Wave height 6.6 feet at 11-second interval. Average wave period 7.8 seconds. The red, I believe, is off. Historical data only at 29.94 millibars with pressure 79 degrees. Where's the waves? Where is the waves? 82-degree water temperature. I've got to cram them all together. I don't want to zoom all the way up. 9.8 feet. the front side of the storm, but nothing on the side that's supposed to be the whipper side. It's funny how that it's always like come on. Yep. Same old, same old.
For what will happen to the storm.
Bye.